Hey friends, what's up? Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gents. So not that long ago, I did a review on this, Rave Now, which is apparently part of Lattafa. And this is a very pineapple forward fragrance that's a bit reminiscent of Creed's Ventus, but if you took away like the smokiness of the birch and really emphasized that pineapple opening. And in the comments of this video, a whole bunch of you guys said that I need to get this. So I did. So I was paying attention, guys. You told me to check out a Lattafa Qaed Al Fursan. Qaed Al Fursan. So yeah, a lot of you guys told me, please check this out. Let me know how it compares to Rave Now. Let me know if it's better or worse, whatever. I got it. So now I'm gonna check it out by your command. Let's jump into it. Now this one I got from fragrancebuy.ca, same place I got Rave Now. I'll link both of them below in case you want to check them out. And basically the price is the exact same. As of this video, it's right under $20 US for this. And that's the same price as this. Let's go ahead and open this up and let's take a look at the presentation. So here we got the front of the box. You have the name of the house, the name of the fragrance, the size and concentration. It's an eau de parfum, 90 ml size bottle. You have Lattafa up on top of the box. On the back, you have that seal of authenticity and also your ingredients. And then on the bottom, you have your barcode and your batch code. A little bit hard to see because it's black ink printed on a black box. Let's take a look at the bottle. Now the bottle for Rave Now, I liked a lot. It reminds me of Dolce & Gabbana's The One. It has kind of rubbery feel. It's kind of cool. All right, so here we have the bottle. It is a little plaque on the inside here with the name of the fragrance. The cap is reminiscent of like a Dior Sauvage cap. And then on the bottom, there's a sticker and the cap is magnetic. So yeah, it's like an interesting fusion of bottles here. It's got like your standard shape here, almost like a Bleu de Chanel shape, and then a Dior Sauvage cap. And it is magnetic, but it's not a very strong magnet, as you can see there. It comes off pretty easily. So I wouldn't try to pick this up by the cap. You'll end up with a busted bottle. Let's go ahead and spray it on a tester strip, see how the atomizer is, and then I'll go ahead and spray it on my skin as well. Atomizer is not great, but that's okay. Let's smell it here on the tester strip first, see how it smells. Yeah, very fresh, pineapple-y, like you guys said. Actually, a whole bunch of you in the comments were saying, hey, you know, this one is also a big pineapple bomb, so see how they contrast and compare. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray it on skin. That way I can do a direct comparison. I'll spray Rave Now over here. I'll spray this one over here, and we'll see how they differ. We'll see which one's better. So here we go. Atomizer again, not great there. They are similar, but there are some differences as well. So this one, the Qaed Al Fursan, I'm so sorry, but that one has like a slight green edge to it, like a little tinge. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. Rave Now over here is more just straight up pineapple. So this one has more of like a pineapple with a slight citrus mixed in with it that's more easily discernible, but they are again very similar. Between the two, I think very comfortably I can say that this one has a little more depth to it. So this one is going to be a little bit heavier. It's got a little more nuance to it. Rave Now is more focused on that opening and really pushing that hard. And so you get like fruit on top of fruit in the open. Whereas with this one over here, I can start to pick out other things kind of playing along underneath it. A little hint of sweetness comes across like maybe a slight vanilla tinge, faint woodiness as well. So definitely similar, as I said before, but differences. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let these dry down and I'm gonna come back and kind of fill you in on how it went, because I'm gonna have to like actually take my time with this one and let it settle and then smell and settle and smell, because I'm going nose blind. I mean, there's no other way around it. Rave Now I liked a lot, more so as like a potential layering apparatus, you know, spraying it on with another fragrance to get that big fruity pineapple blast in the open. But between the two, at least off this very initial impression, I'd say this one would make the better overall fragrance to wear by itself. Like it has a little more going on with it. So let me go ahead and let these dry down. I'll be right back. Ooh, I'm back. And it's really funny. As soon as I got remotely close, like all the way across the room from my wife. She was like, "I smell you." Just like a horror movie or something. "I can smell you." And it's really funny because, as I told you guys, I was going completely nose blind. So as I was approaching, I was about to say, "Yeah, I can't smell myself. Can you like smell me?" But she cut me off like from all the way across the room, all the way across the living room. So yeah, they're strong. You got some push to them. That's probably why I'm going nose blind. They're just like overwhelming my senses. I should have gone with one spray instead of multiple. But anyway, none of that matters. So let's talk about the two fragrances, the differences, similarities, all that. So I guess we'll start with similarities. Yeah, they're really similar. There's not too much to say past that. They're quite similar. There are differences, but they're not massive. So Rave now has more pineapple. This has a bigger blast, a little bit sweeter, a little bit fresher off the top. Whereas this one, it still has that sweetness, it still has that freshness, absolutely, but it has like a faint additional woodiness, and maybe, as I said before, there's like a faint green tinge that I picked up on when I first smelled it. It has like a little aromatic flair to it, not much. Actually, it's more like a green woodiness, I would say, more so than aromatic. It has a little bit of an ambery vanillic sweetness that comes out very faintly, a little bit more than Rave initially, but then as they dry down, I'd say Rave maintains sweetness, or Rave now I should say, maintains the sweetness a little bit more, whereas this one leans woodier. That said, they are close, like undeniably close. And if you said, you know, I already own this, should I buy this? I would say probably not, and same thing goes the other way around. That said, if you really like them, one or the other, and you want a little twist, like a faint twist from one to the other, you want to get them both, you're not going to be out that much money because they're right at $20. I think technically, as of when I'm filming, it's like $19.58 or something like that. One thing about these though, they're really addictive. Like these fragrances, when you can smell them and you get that big wallop of pineapple, it smells great, way better than you would expect for a sub $20 fragrance. You would expect it to smell like utter trash, frankly, and it doesn't. Now, which one is my favorite? Well, I think still Rave Now. I like this one a little bit more. I like the presentation. I like this whole Dolce & Gabbana's the one wrapped in a plastic geometric pattern. It's kind of cool. This presentation, I don't mind, but I feel like when I look at it, it looks cheaper than this one. Like this one feels more thought out for whatever reason. This one, like you can clearly see the line running down the bottle where it's kind of fused together there. The plaque doesn't really do it for me. And then the Sauvage cap that has the really weak magnet, I think overall just looks a little cheaper to me personally. Not that it's bad when you compare it to a lot of other clone type fragrances presentations. It's just between the two, I prefer this one. Now, I did get my wife's thoughts on these both because she's a big time pineapple fan, as anybody who's watched this channel for a long time knows, because she was obsessed with pineapple vintage intense for a long time. So pineapple was kind of like her thing. And her favorite was Rave Now because it does have just a little more of that pineapple push in the opening, whereas this one, it definitely has that pineapple, but it also has some other notes that are kind of wrapped around that pineapple. So this one is a little bit more fruit forward. Again, it's not a massive difference, and she said as much as well. She said they were quite similar, but this one is just a little bit more. Quality of both of these for the price is great, and I'm taking nothing away from this one right here. I think it's quite nice. And as I said before, I feel like for some people, it may actually be the better choice if you're not wanting as much of an overload of pineapple, but you still want a substantial amount. And then you want to have a little more depth as it dries, a little more woodiness, a little amber in there, and a touch of spice. This has that. Rave Now to me is like the pineapple overlord. But I'm kind of bowing down to my pineapple overlord here, saying that I like it more. So yeah, both though, really solid for the price. Well, I guess let's talk about the whole thing. What is this a clone of? Well, on Fragrantica, people have said that it's a clone of Black Excess by Paco Rabanne. So here is Black Excess, and I don't think so. It's really not close. I did spray Black XS on to try to contrast and compare a little bit, see if maybe there's a similarity that I was missing out on, because when I smelled this, Black XS did not pop into my mind. I didn't think of it at all. And I gotta say, I don't think they're similar personally. Black XS has this sweetness to it, quite a lot of sweetness. It has a praline note. It's got this almost syruped feel to it. It's very youthful. It's a great night out fragrance. I think it gets overshadowed by 1 Million. I think Black XS is actually really good, as long as you don't mind sweet fragrances with a hint of syrup. And not pancake syrup. I mean like fruity syrup. And so comparing the two, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I would say this is maybe like a little bit closer to a Hassavat type of fragrance, but it's not really Hassavat either. So it's just kind of its own thing to an extent that is drawing off of other popular fragrances. So like it has bits and pieces of Hassavat, but it's not a direct one-to-one with Hassavat. That's probably the closest thing that I would compare this to, actually. In terms of performance, I already told you guys, my wife could smell it all the way across our living room. It lasts for a long time, but it absolutely makes me go nose blind. You may or may not have that effect. Like my wife doesn't. She can just smell the stuff forever. But if you have a propensity to go anosmic to fragrances that have a big pineapple note in them, which is one of the notes or accords that is most effective at making some people anosmic, you'll probably have that happen with these two. But people can absolutely smell this for hours. It projects like a beast for a very fruity, sweet, fresh fragrance. I have no qualms with the performance. In terms of seasons, with this one, I would say it's more well-balanced for year-round use. Yeah, that additional woodiness that it has that comes through a little bit more, I think makes it where you can rock this about year-round, daytime or nighttime. Rave Now is more of like a spring, summertime, early fall fragrance. I know not a huge difference between the two, but those differences, they do have a little bit of an effect as far as when I personally would wear these. So there we go. You guys told me to get it. I got it. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. For under 20 bucks, man, this is an absolute steal. And this is like two sides of the same coin kind of deal. Like you can't go wrong with either one. I would say, reiterating for the 15th time, if you just want as much pineapple as you can get, Rave Now is the one that you want. And if you want one that has that pineapple, but it has maybe a little more balance to it, a little more woodiness, go with this one. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for the recommendation. Actually, I saw a bunch of other fragrances over these last few videos that you guys have recommended, and I'm trying to get some of those in and have some new videos for you. Like I know Essential Parfums, that one of you really wanted me to check that out. So I've placed an order for that. So, we'll get it in, see how it is. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me here. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you again another day with another video. See you guys.